So AI is going to save Agile, right? Wrong. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast.
Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams.
Howdy, friend. Glad to have you here. I thought it was about time I addressed this question because everybody's talking about it, of course. Just recently, Jeff Sutherland himself said AI won't take your job. Scrum masters who use AI will. Do you know how tired I am of hearing that stuff? I thought I'd chime in my thoughts on AI, especially as it pertains to agility. But before we go there, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. If you love this episode, don't forget to share it with your friends. Now, I'm a bit of an old-timer. I've been doing this for a while, and I've seen tech trends come and go. And I realize that AI is not about to go anywhere. And I realize that it may be one of the biggest forces for change that we've seen in a long time. However, I do remember what happened with the internet bubble, with cryptocurrency, with NFTs, and a ton of other technology trends. There have been some big shapers that have definitely stuck, the internet being the most common example, but of course smartphones, cloud, big data, and so on. Not to mention Agile itself. But here's the thing that gets me about this one. We talk about AI as if it's going to replace all of humanity, and I have a huge concern there. There's a certain amount of humanness that we need at work. Part of our responsibility as leaders and as citizens of the world is to make sure that our workplace is a place where everybody can grow, a place where everybody benefits. You and I didn't ask for things to cost money, but they do. So if we're going to get out there and work so that we can have money, so we can have those things, those fundamental necessary things, then anything that comes along and says it's going to take the place of all human employment is a bit of a problem. First of all, forget the money issue for a second. People deserve and need to do something that stretches them. Finding purpose in our work, helping people that we want to help, achieving things that we want to achieve. Not just titles and promotions, but real accomplishments that are meaningful to us. And here's part of the problem that I have with AI as it stands right now. We seem to be very much in the gold rush phase, where everybody's making money off of it. It's a big ocean of opportunity, so everybody's jumping on it and everyone's doing stuff with it. Not all of those things are valuable, and the bigger problem is this. There is almost no ethical, safety, or copyright governance going on with AI at all. I don't see legislators stepping up to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like if we had to turn the Terminator off, where's the plug? Can we still pull it? So we're seeing weird things happen now, like people are using AI to cheat. It's rampant in schools. Ask a teacher, it's hard to get an assignment where maybe 50% of the class doesn't turn in an AI-generated output, trying to pass it off as their own. But the grown-ups aren't doing much better, are they? We're starting to hear stories of terrible things, like big consulting firms charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for a report that probably took 15 minutes to prepare. We also see scary stuff, people becoming addicted to AI chatbots as a replacement for real social connection, real human connection. That's kind of weird. But you also see terrible things where parents are suing the AI companies for encouraging their kids to commit suicide. Now that's a worst-case example of a bad output. But you and I have all experienced something similar in that we've put a question in or asked for input or advice or validation on something only to have AI tell us something that was patently untrue. I've had occasions myself where I asked for answers and got what seemed like really pleasing answers. They're kind of exactly what I wanted to hear. And I asked AI to validate or show me the research that it had done. Show me the data. Show me the stats. And it kind of went, nah, you got me. I made this up. Huh? We're seeing really, really quickly in the music industry, another industry that I love, where an app called Suno is allowing people with absolutely no musical skill, knowledge, or talent to play an instrument can compose, and I use that word in air quotes, and produce a finished track of music. But the question remains, what was this trained on? And who owns the outputs? And what happens to the industry to make it even worse for artists trying to get paid for their inventions when, and I'm quoting an industry fact here, the volume of Spotify's entire music catalog can be duplicated by artificial intelligence in a matter of days? What happens to the pool of available funds for streamers, for artists, for creators? And not to mention the fact that at the end of the day, AI is just code. It can only do what we tell it to do. Now, some experts would say, no. AI can learn now, but the way that they learn is based on the way we've instructed it to learn. And here's what I can't let go of. When it comes to replacing human interactions, it can get close. It can get really good. It can create artificial actors that can appear in artificially constructed films. It can replicate voices, my voice included. It can create photographs. This stuff is really impressive, what it can build. But think about this. I used to have this dog named Lola. When my kids were younger, we all used to go to the drive-in. And one night we're sitting outside the car because everyone's sitting in lawn chairs, just enjoying the summer night. In between movies, people are going by the car and Lola's with us. They're just loving on this dog. There's a friendly dog. Can I pet her? And she's just digging all of it, man. She loved this kind of attention. And all of a sudden, this cop walks by and says, "Is she friendly?" We say, "Sure." The cop comes up to Lola and Lola starts growling and pulling back like there's something she knew about this guy that made him unsafe to her. Now, I couldn't see it. He was wearing a uniform. Dog doesn't know what a police uniform is. Dog doesn't know what a pistol or a taser looks like or what it means. She didn't watch the news or have a TikTok. She has no opinion of this person at all, never met him before. But she knew something was up. Now, until you can explain to me how that works in a little dog's brain, then we can't code it. We can't train that into a system, which means there will always be something about human connection and communication and interaction that's missing from artificial intelligence. AI can never exceed or even replace who we are or what we do. And here's the big question, why would you want to? Who would create something that demolishes jobs, that takes away opportunity and income, freedom, or even survival from a chunk of the population? I don't care who they are. Computers are about information, automation, execution, processing. They don't have intuition, sensation, inspiration, emotion, connection. Its circuits don't adjust and adapt, form, and dissolve in response to its environment. It doesn't know fear, addiction, irrationality, subconscious, or the unconscious mind. It doesn't dream. Maybe someday we'll fully understand the workings of the human brain. But as long as science can only answer certain questions with, "Yeah, we're not exactly sure how that works," or research is continuing on that subject, then AI just can't replace you. And one more time, I'll say this again. In the movie Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum has this great line, "We were so busy thinking about whether or not we could that we never stopped to ask if we should." Now look, I know AI is getting better. It's getting better by the minute. The question of whether or not that's sustainable or even interesting remains to be seen. But if you think about the problems that we have in Agile itself, the problems that we're unable to solve, the things that we don't seem to be able to tackle, to make an Agile initiative a clear-cut success. And I think you'll agree our reputation is in jeopardy right now. If we haven't been able to fix or change those stats, those metrics in the past decade, then what makes you think that a computer that is trained on our limited knowledge, what we know and are certain about in the world, which, by the way, ain't very much, is going to do much better? So when people say AI is going to revolutionize Agile, my question is, how? With what? In what way? I see people saying, "Oh, well, your retrospective meeting, it'll be able to summarize it for you and itemize and send out the action items or the key learnings." And yeah, that's true, and AI does that pretty well. But in terms of replacing a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, what's that going to do? It's going to take an already bad problem, an already struggling industry, and make it worse. You know what I see as I watch all of this going down? AI satisfies a really important need that we all have, a need for ease, for things to be simpler and to be quicker. And if I believed for a moment that corporations would use it ethically to return or accrue some of the benefit back to the employee so they're no longer working 60, 70-hour work weeks, then I'd be all for it. The reality is this tool is probably going to be used to either eliminate human jobs in a way that will cause all sorts of problems, or It'll be used in such a way that people are now expected to do even more because, hey, you got the tools to make it simpler, don't you? I don't know. When I think about the extent of human creativity and human will, we don't need more ease. We need more of the opposite. We need to stretch. We need to grow. We need to wrestle with coming up with the right thing to say. We need to wrestle with a way to pitch our value. We need to wrestle with handling another human being on our team. We need to learn how to handle bad news and how to deliver it. And having a robot do all of this stuff, what's it for? It's one thing when technology makes a skill more accessible, but it's entirely another when technology makes a skill obsolete or unnecessary. There are many pursuits where the challenge is the juice, the struggle, the effort, the failures. In fact, isn't that what we talk about when we talk about agility? That's what we're designed to do, to learn through experimentation, failure, and repetition. We're not meant to have an easy, robotic, meaningless life. So I have no doubt the AI will improve to the point where it could do our jobs for us, but my question is, why would we want that? And until we snap our heads back in place, I question all the followers out there who are extolling the endless virtues of AI to put your head on straight for a second. How badly do you want to watch a movie made by robots, acted by robots, shot in a setting that doesn't exist, with a camera that was never there? All of the contributions that the lighting person and the director and the sound person and the key grip and the Steadicam operator, all of the contributions that those people bring will be gone. And when we're no longer using humans for that, let me ask you this question. What is left to train AI on? There will be no new creations. And if there's nothing new to feed the engine, then the engine will never produce anything challenging, different, or exciting. I don't know, that doesn't sound like a fun life to me. And I really don't follow how people are using AI in Agile today, so I don't know the specifics. Maybe there's something I'm missing, and if you've got the answer, don't hesitate to reach out and tell me what you think it is. But I'm saying right now, if you want to know what to do to fight this, so that Scrum Master, Agile Coach, and so on are still viable jobs 5-10 years hence, then you got to start focusing on the value that you bring as a human being to the endeavor, to your customer. And that, my friends, is nothing new. I've been saying that for a long time. If, on the other hand, you might want to know how we could use AI to make parts of our job simpler, I'll try and follow that stuff, and I'll try and share it with you as I learn it and as I test it and use it. But in the meantime, I say be careful what you wish for and be mindful how you tread. My friends, you can find me as always at badassagile.com. Don't forget to check out my new courses, Forge Genesis and Forge Lightning, launching in January. So go to learning.fusechamber.com to hear more about those. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, and until then, stay badass.